Hi, S7. I've got a starter for you guys to do. So pause the video now to answer the questions. Number 1, true or false? Gas exchange occurs in plants too. Number 2, in what order does the air move through your body? Number 3, true or false? The surface of alveoli is dry. Number 4, true or false? To be effective, the surface of the alveoli is thin and moist. Once you're ready, you can carry on with the video to mark your work. So these are the answers. Well done if you got them all right. Number 2 was from last lesson, so you should have got it right by now, or this time around. Okay, this is week 9, lesson 2, and the title is Breathing. The learning outcomes are, I can use a model to describe what happens during inhaling and exhaling. I can use a model to explain what happens during breathing. I can explain how to measure lung volume. So, in breathing, the movement of the rib muscles and diaphragm allow air in and out of the lungs. This is called breathing or ventilation. When we breathe in, we inhale. So that's a way to remember what the difference is between inhale and exhale, because you breathe in and then you inhale. When we breathe out, we exhale. So air enters the lungs through the trachea. The trachea divides into 2 bronchi with 1 bronchus for each lung. Each bronchus divides further in the lungs into smaller tubes called bronchioles. At the end of each bronchiole, there is a group of tiny air sacs called alveoli. We looked at this last lesson, so this should be easy peasy, hopefully. So what happens when we breathe in, or when humans inhale and exhale? So on your left hand side, we're going to look at this first. So when you take oxygen into your body, the muscles between your ribs contract, and this pulls your rib cage up and out. The diaphragm contracts as it moves down. The volume inside your chest increases. The pressure inside your chest decreases. This draws air into your lungs. If you stand in front of a mirror, you'll be able to see this. You will be able to see your rib cage expanding and getting smaller. Let's use a different color for exhalation. So, what happens when you exhale? The muscles between your ribs relax. The muscles between your ribs are called intercostal muscles. So they relax and pull your rib cage down and in. The diaphragm relaxes and it moves up. The volume inside your chest decreases and the pressure inside your chest increases. This pushes air out of your lungs. So you need to remember this for some questions that are coming up. So the last lesson we looked at why we have less oxygen in exhaled air and more carbon dioxide in exhaled air. And this equation helps to explain it. So the reason we exhale less oxygen but more carbon dioxide is because of aerobic respiration. So when you eat, your body converts the food that you eat into glucose, because it's glucose that is needed in the reactions, chemical reactions in your body in order for you to be able to have energy. So glucose from the food you eat plus oxygen from the air you breathe, when they react together, they form carbon dioxide, which is what you breathe out. They form water, which you also breathe out, or water vapor you breathe out. And then you have the energy, which is useful, and that is what your body needs in order to move around. Just think on a day that maybe you've not eaten for a long time. You skipped breakfast, you skipped lunch. By evening time, you'll be really lethargic. You will not have enough energy if you've not eaten. And that is because your body needs the energy. It needs to form energy from the reaction of glucose and oxygen. Are you able to label these diagrams? So pause the video and see whether you can label the diagrams. The keywords are there for you to use. So you've got diaphragm, lungs, rib muscles, ribs, and your trachea. The answer to this diagram, the answers will be coming up shortly. Okay, pause the video again. Write down the answers in your book. Copy the table and fill in the answers. As I said on the last video, you do not need to submit anything to us because you can mark your own work as to whether you got it right or not. I am trusting that you guys are doing the work properly and not just cheating, and not cheating at all actually, and just skipping to the answers, because if you do that, you are not learning and you are only going to be doing yourself a disservice in the long run. So breathing is cold, and then you can choose the answers from bigger, contract, inhalation, exhalation, diaphragm, rib, relax, smaller. So you need to choose the right keywords for this passage or paragraphs. So breathing is cold, and then choose your answer. Breathing in is cold, choose your answer. Breathing out is cold, choose your answer. Breathing is brought about by two sets of muscles. And then you need to put your answer. Something muscles found between the ribs and the something, which separates the chest from the body below. And then have a read of this. And then when you have got your answers down, and also you need to do the same thing here, then you can move on to the next slide, or you can restart the video in your case. Restart the video and you can mark your work. So do the ribs move in or out for breathing in? And for breathing out, you need to just put in, out. And then try and write down the correct answers for these two columns as well. When you're ready, I'll start the video again. I hope you can see the answers. It is a little bit tiny on the screen, but you should be able to mark your work. Well done if you got them all right. If you got half of them right, that's okay. But I still think you will need to go back and rewatch the video. There is quite a lot of information that you are being taught. So there's no harm in rewatching the video so that you can understand what you've been taught. Because tomorrow you're going to have you're going to have revision, and then on Thursday you're going to have an end of topic quiz. So it's vital that you understand what we're doing. An interesting fact about the left lung, it's slightly smaller than the right lung, and this is so that it can accommodate the heart. Last week, I put a notice on Show My Homework and said that you guys should get the equipment. So 3 balloons, 2 straws, bend it if possible, sellotape or rubber bands, an empty bottle, a pair of scissors. So if you've managed to get all the equipment together, that would be great. Now for the straws, I said you can use paper straws as well. That's fine. I've tested both and it does work. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own lungs model. Now, in order to make a lung model, I said to you last week to get some equipment ready, so hopefully you've got that today. The lung model just demonstrates how our lungs work. Here is one that if you were in class you'd be using, and we're going to attempt to make something similar. So you've got two balloons in there attached to your bronchi, which is attached to your trachea. So if you pull this down, this rubber plastic bit represents our diaphragm. Can you see that you're taking air in? If you push it up, then you are decreasing the volume of air in your lungs. So if you want to make your own model, get an empty 500 ml bottle. You can use something smaller if you want. Try and take the wrapping off. Okay, then when I tried to do this experiment, if you cut it in the middle, I find that it tends to go really soft, and there's less support. So I just try and cut off the bottom just by making a hole. And then cut around it. So I'm just trying to cut off the base at this point. And try and make sure you have no jagged edges. That means sharp edges. So we don't want that part. The other thing you need to do is make a hole in the top of your, in the lid. So you can get an adult to do this for you so that you do not hurt yourself. Okay, so I've just pushed the scissors in. I think I've made the hole a bit too big. Now if that happens, you can use either sellotape or a bit of plasticine or blue tack in order to seal the hole. So the next thing we're going to do is 2 straws. You can use bendy straw if you want. If you use a bendy straw, you can insert it. So you need to cut an opening into one of these straws and then insert and sellotape it. So I'm going to use let's measure the bottom. We can always cut down a bit later. So cut it at an angle and then make an incision in roughly the same part. So about there. You don't want to cut it off completely. And then just insert that. Can you see how it bends? You might need someone to help you here. And then get some sellotape to try and stick it together. Now you want to make sure that it is airtight. So I'm going to add just a little bit more sellotape, because if it's not airtight, it will not inflate the balloons. And hopefully this works. If it doesn't, there's one I prepared earlier. Okay, the next thing to do is get 2 balloons. I find it a lot easier to cut off the rim. And then when you put one end of your bronchus, use sellotape to seal it off. If you don't cut these bits off, it just makes it a bit more bulky. Okay, and then do the same for the next balloon. Just need a bit of sellotape. You fold that over and then wrap your sellotape around it. So hopefully that is airtight. The next thing to do is to put it in your bottle, and then you can decide how long or short you want the trachea to be. Also, we need to cover the bottom of the plastic bottle. Now, I'm just going to suggest just stretch your balloon a little bit and then tie the end and then pull it down. Then cut the other end of the balloon. Now this is where the tricky bit comes, trying to fit it over here. Actually, I'm going to say take this bit out, you can put it in the other way. So this is the tricky bit. I'm going to say don't try and attempt it several times, because if you do, the bottle will collapse. So I'm stretching the balloon again. You might get someone, a family member, to hold it for you. Okay, that is not working. Let me find another balloon. Let me get 2 more balloons. If you have an old balloon, that would also work. And also you can use like a plastic bag or food bag if it doesn't have any holes in it. And you can make it tight around the base of the bottle. Okay, hopefully this would work. No, it's not working. Let me try and cut, because that bit is a little bit bendy, so I'm going to cut a little bit more off. Hopefully this would work. So these are some of the problems you may experience at home while trying to do it as well. Okay, once you've got it tight, try and get some sellotape to wrap around it. So that will prevent it from moving and coming off. Okay, hopefully that's secure. Then we can put a balloon in through the top. Try and insert it carefully. Make sure that your balloons are not inflated. Now you don't want it touching all the way so all the way down. You don't want it reaching the bottom of your tube. So put the lid back on, and then you can cut part of it off. Okay. Now I'm going to get some blue tack, so wait right there. I hope I have blue tack in here. Yes, I do. I don't have plasticine to hand, so I'm getting some blue tack to fit over that hole to make it airtight. And then just push it down. So this bit that we have at the bottom, when you pull it, it should inflate. This one is very weak. Only one lung is working properly. So, okay, you can see the yellow one is inflating. So the only problem I can suggest is probably I did not seal the other one properly, the green one. This is one I did earlier. So you push it in. No, that one isn't working properly either. Okay, it's inflated a bit. So this one I used using paper straws. So when I pull down the diaphragm, it inflates. When I push it up, it deflates. Okay, it's working now, as you can see. Yes, Miss Callis?
Yes, that's wonderful,
So
Miss.
you're breathing in, you're breathing out. In, out. Okay, and that's how you make your own lung model. Lung capacity. The equipment that you need is listed on the screen on the video, and also you can get like an adult to help you if you've got a really big bottle like this. We're measuring like 250, roughly 250 mils, and then you keep pouring it in. As you pour it in, you measure. You put a line as to where it has reached. So what you want to do is fill this right to the top. So you need to do 250 mils all the way till you get right to the top. I'll be back in a jiffy. And then when you get to the end, you can just fill that bit up. Okay, and then you're going to cover. Oh, this is heavy. So you're going to need an adult to help if you use something big like this. You can also use a 2-liter bottle, that's fine. Oh. So you're going to cover one end with your hand. Turn it upside down without letting any water out. There we go. The next trick is to insert one end of the tube underneath without letting the water drain. So that one I have done. Miss Callis, could you just hold this for me a minute, please? Thank you. Don't let it fall, otherwise you'll be doing it all over again. Then, because I'm in school, I'm just using an antibacterial wipe because I'm going to be blowing into the tube. Okay, so you take a deep breath and then you blow out as much as you can. Okay, I have stopped there because this trough isn't big enough. Otherwise, the water will go all over the tap. But what you can do is, count how many lines that you have that has been displaced by the air. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would be 250 mils times 9. That would tell you how much air there is in your lungs. And that is how you measure lung capacity. And you can try this on other members of your family if they're willing to take part. Okay, so how big are your lungs? Any idea? Well, it's a bit difficult to measure just looking at yourself. Another question I would like you to think about is, how do you think, or what do you think affects the volume of your lungs? We're going to have a look at this question a bit later on. We can measure the lung volume using the equipment to the right. To measure the volume, you need to blow through the rubber tubing so that the air pushes the water out. After a deep breath, the volume of water that you expel from the bottle is the same as the volume of your lungs. And then you can read off the volume of air produced using your markings. So this is an extension task. If you want to do it, that would be great. So how to measure your lung volume. The equipment you need: a measuring jug, a large plastic bottle, a marker pen, rubber tubing, large bowl or trough half filled with water, a funnel. Masking tape is optional. It depends on whether you use the marker pen on the outside of the bottle or whether you would like to put masking tape on the outside of the bottle and then use a marker pen or just an ordinary pen to mark off the levels of water. It's up to you. There is a video on YouTube that you can watch. Again, I have put the link on Show My Homework, and it goes through exactly how you need to do it. I have also included the method. So number one says measure out 250 ml of water into the bottle and put a mark where it goes up to. Repeat until you get to the top of the bottle. Half fill a large bowl or trough or sink with water. Place your hand over the end of the drinks bottle to create a seal. Carefully turn it upside down and place the neck of the bottle in the bowl of water. You might need to ask an adult to help you here. Carefully remove your hand, making sure that the neck of the bottle stays under the water. Take a length of rubber tube and feed one end into the neck of the bottle without losing the water from the bottle. So you don't want to turn it too much to the side, otherwise the water might come out and then you have to start all over again. Wipe the other end of the rubber tube with an antiseptic wipe if you have that. Take a deep breath. Now breathe out into the rubber tubing for as long as possible. In the process, do not make yourself ill. Count how many lines the water lowered by and multiply by 250 ml. Once you've done this, you'll be able to work out your lung capacity. And then refill the bottle of water and repeat the experiment for a member of your family who wants to take part. That would be a great way to get them involved. Okay, so what kind of lifestyle choices affect somebody's lung volume? How can you improve your lung volume? I want you to have a think about that now. So there are many different things that can affect people's lung volume. So lifestyle, it could be, how big a person is, how small they are. It could be whether they are fit or unfit. And also, I mean, this is not a choice because you age anyway. You can't stop aging. So it's not a lifestyle choice, but your age also will affect your lung volume as your gender, and also people who have respiratory diseases, that will affect their lung volume. How can you improve your lung volume? One of the best ways is to exercise. That's one good way to improve your lung volume. See if you can find any other answers on the internet. So today we've looked at being able to use a model to describe what happens during inhaling and exhaling. Use a model to explain what happens during breathing, and explain how to measure lung volume. The last one is an extension task. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. If you don't understand anything, please rewatch it. Again, you do not need to submit anything. Just make sure that you are faithful in doing the work. And try and do some, some revision so that you can do well in your end of topic test.